Welcome, everyone. We'll do the formal program in a moment, but just wanted to say welcome for those that haven't met. My name is Scott Drew. I have the honor of serving as the 9th Dean of our school, and it's a pleasure to see all of you here. Our MC for the evening, without further ado, is Courtney.
I'd like to take this time to introduce myself and welcome you to the 2017 Scholarship Dinner here at the Ross School of Business. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight in celebration of the generosity of our donors and the accomplishments of our scholarship recipients. My name is Courtney Shire, and I will be your Master of Ceremonies this evening. I'm a BBA senior here at Ross, as well as a proud scholarship recipient, which I will be touching more on later. Before moving to Ann Arbor, I grew up in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, which is a small town in the Upper Peninsula near the Canadian border. Whenever people wonder where I'm from, I just say, go straight north from here, and when you hit Canada, you know you're in my hometown. I'm the only child of a state policeman and an accountant, and I'm just a month away from graduating from an institution which I spent my entire childhood dreaming of attending. Your generosity makes this possible for students like me. But enough about me for the moment. I'd like to now invite you to join me in welcoming Dean Scott Drew back to the stage.
Thank you, Courtney. This is a really special evening. I've been at the university for a decade, and two of the defining features of this university are unwavering commitment to academic excellence, which all of the students in this room tonight embody and represent in really special and profound ways. And another defining feature of this university is the sense of community and the spirit that we all share, the love that we share for the university and the people within it. And the opportunity to come together and celebrate the students who are the recipients of the scholarships, the opportunity to celebrate the generous donors who have afforded these scholarships to those students so they can excel academically and have the opportunities that we all aspire for those students to have. To me, tonight is really a celebration of a commitment to academic excellence and the sense of spirit and community. Those two things really define this place and make this a truly, truly special place. We also have an opportunity to celebrate our sense of spirit and community this evening. I was sitting in honors convocation on Sunday, watching 3,000 people enjoy honors convocation. I'm on stage. There's 3,000 people in the audience. They're certainly enjoying honors convocation. It just so happened it was at the same time as the basketball game. And I watched what happened when it ended, which was everybody going, "We won," on their phones. And then when the NCAA decided that they wanted to leverage our scholarship dinner and combine that with our team in the Sweet 16 playing, I thought that was a wonderful opportunity to really bring us together to celebrate the commitment to academic excellence and the spirit and community that defines this place so that we can enjoy ourselves this evening with the scholarship dinner and also cheer on our Wolverines. So go blue. So as you all know, one of the things that defines the Ross School of Business is our commitment to experience-based, action-based learning. And I'm giving you this as somewhat of a warning this evening. So beginning now, there is a leadership crisis challenge, which is one of our signature experiences every year. We do it with our graduate students. Tonight is our undergraduate students. The experience embodies the way we think about business education. They represent a management team of a company that is undergoing a significant crisis. Okay? They will have to present to their board tomorrow. Some of you in the room have represented those boards of directors in the past. They will be working on their strategic response to that board this evening. At 9:15, if you happen to still be around, approximately right after the game, there will be a protest simulated in the Winter Garden, protesting right? With the company that is undergoing the crisis. So you can really see how we bring this to life. There's social media, protests, press conferences, media, those sorts of things. It's a really special event. So there are hundreds of them. They are in the building undergoing their crisis challenge right now. And with that, I want to give you an example of what it looks like. The video that we're about to show you is from the graduate crisis challenge from earlier this year. So without further ado, the video. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you.
I'm overlooking the port of Miami, where for the past 3 months, a massive algae bloom has overrun the bay.
This is the Leadership Crisis Challenge. You are now executives at Polaris Cruise Lines. A crisis is emerging. The company's future is in your hands.
There's a big algae bloom,
and it's possible that it is due to our ships.
This bloom is taking over, and the tourism business is plummeting.
The public is outraged. We are facing investigations, maybe some legal actions.
the perception is that we broke the law.
We find out our teams and are given the night to come up with a presentation, and the next morning we have to present to the company's board of directors.
Whew, that was heavy.
I can work on long-term stuff, how we're going to change culture.
And then you want to work on the short term, then we can come together
To do the immediate next steps in the financials. We kept getting new information throughout the evening. Did you see the most recent email? Yeah. Experts say algae bloom is likely a result of employee error.
Whew. Having to adapt to that new information, it was a bit of a scramble. There's two different avenues that we're going down.
Yeah.
One is related to the water ballast system. The other avenue that we're investigating is human error. And at this point, we've got to salvage our reputation.
We ended the night by submitting our presentation.
We got it in with about 5 seconds to spare.
It was definitely a rush to the finish.
Today we were tasked with presenting that to the board of directors.
Is there anything else in there that's really critical information that we want to be upfront about?
We walked into a board meeting and we started our presentation that we had prepared last night.
Good morning. Today we're going to walk through the situation that we're facing.
I think we got through maybe the first slide and they started asking us questions. Whether it was truly caused by us or not, the public feels that it was.
I don't want to be doing anything to accept liability.
So we aren't planning on admitting liability until thorough investigations have been completed by us.
We really need to, I think, have an independent investigation.
That's definitely a route that we could investigate.
And then some of these things the management wants to do may be best delayed until we know the answer to that.
I mean, has outside counsel reviewed these next steps? I mean, I think he should.
Okay. It was pretty intense.
Definitely felt like I was in the hot seat.
And then being able to get instant feedback after the presentation, that was awesome.
When you go before a board, you've got just a few moments to build one thing with them: trust.
It's my pleasure to welcome you to the final round. We're going to announce 5 finalist teams in just a moment. As you know, we're going to have a final round press conference, and we're going to have a final round of judges. These people came from all over the country to be here today.
We did not win, but I think at the end of the day, our strategy had some gaps.
I thought it was really cool to be able to see real journalists, and once they smelled blood, I mean, they went for it.
We're hearing reports that the dump may have been caused by manual error.
The investigation is still ongoing. Once we have any concrete conclusion, we'll be sure to share with the public.
A situation like this is completely beyond my comfort zone. It's been a challenge the entire process, but it's something that I've learned something every step of the way.
It's the epitome of action-based learning, and I think that is a major differentiator. Thank you for coming out. It's an experience. It is. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Think through, isn't there?
There is.
Something like this, you can't get from a textbook.
So, no, you definitely can't get that from a textbook. And yes, we are 2 of the students that you just saw in that video. Good evening, everyone. My name is Courtney Abram, and I'm a second-year MBA student and a proud native of Cleveland, Ohio. After graduation in April, I will go to work for Medtronic in their Leadership Development Rotational Program.
Good evening. My name is Courtney Black. I'm also a second-year MBA student. I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia, and after graduation, I'll be going to work for Mars in their Graduate Leadership Development Program.
It's hard to believe that it was just over 2 years ago that I received a phone call from admissions telling me that not only had I been accepted to Ross, but that I had also received a scholarship. And I was thrilled when I heard the news that I got in, but I was absolutely floored and nearly speechless when I found out that I had received a scholarship as well. And I knew almost immediately after that phone call that I would be spending the next 2 years in Ann Arbor. It's also hard to believe that it was just over 1 year ago when Courtney and I were filmed in that video you just saw, and we completed the Crisis Challenge. It was certainly one of the most memorable experiences that we've had at Ross.
Yes, the Leadership Crisis Challenge was an amazing, albeit intense experience. Being able to present to and receive feedback from CEOs and executives really opened my eyes into what it takes to be a leader and hopefully one day be in their shoes. This experience really drilled down into what a leader must keep top of mind to lead his or her organization, not just in times of crises, but also every day. The experience also inspired me to expand my skill set outside of just marketing, which is my original reason for coming back to school, and instead get a thorough understanding of my organization and how the business is run. This took shape in my class selection this year by opting into more finance and strategy courses, and is part of the reason why I chose to work for Mars in their rotational program, where I'll be working across several different business units before moving into my role as a brand manager.
I agree with Courtney. The Crisis Challenge definitely shaped the way that I think about leadership, and it was very intense. And for me, I would also describe the Crisis Challenge as uncomfortable, maybe even intimidating. And that might sound strange, but somebody once told me that if I feel uncomfortable, that's a good thing. That means that I'm growing and that I'm getting out of my comfort zone. And when I think about it, that's exactly why I came back to school, to get out of my comfort zone, to do things that I've never done before, and maybe even things that I didn't think were possible. And the Crisis Challenge is just one example of those activities that pushed me to grow and pushed me to learn. And I would argue that being a scholarship recipient enabled me to take advantage of as many of these experiences at Ross as possible. For me, being a scholarship recipient not only provided some very crucial financial support, but it also provided a sense of inspiration, a vote of confidence that urged me to push myself and challenge myself and take advantage of all these experiences that Ross has to offer. So just as another example, this past semester I enrolled in a class on healthcare delivery in emerging markets. And as part of this class, I traveled to Hyderabad, India, with 2 other Michigan students. And this was my first time to India. It was my first time to Asia. And it was definitely an experience similar to the Crisis Challenge, unlike anything that I've ever done before. And it will certainly benefit me in my career moving forward. And I don't know that had I had not been a scholarship recipient, I would have been able to take advantage of this opportunity. Was I uncomfortable? Yes, you could say that. But was it an amazing learning experience? Absolutely. So for that, I will be forever grateful to you all as donors and to Ross.
I'm very appreciative for my scholarship as well. I mean, receiving my scholarship made coming to Ross an even easier decision. Being able to pay for school full-time and not have to work after class really afforded me the opportunity to take advantage of the many learnings that occur at Ross outside of the classroom. This includes not only the Leadership Crisis Challenge, but several other initiatives that took place where I got to learn, form relationships with my classmates. So overall, we just want to say how grateful we are to you as donors and to Ross for this incredible experience that we've had over the last year and a half. We've grown personally and developed lifelong friendships, and professionally, and developed skills to make us better leaders in our respective careers. And one day, we hope to be in a position to help future Ross students the way that you all have helped us. So again, thank you.
So thank you, Courtney and Courtney. Wow, there are a lot of Courtneys up here tonight. I'd just like to clarify for everybody that you actually don't have to be named Courtney to get a scholarship at this school, but apparently it helps. Earlier, I mentioned that I myself am fortunate enough to have received a scholarship here at Ross, and in a few minutes, you'll be hearing from my generous scholarship donor, Miss Catherine Basant. I distinctly remember the moment that I knew that I had received Kathy's scholarship. I was sitting at the desk in my room when up popped on my computer a notification from the university saying that there was an award notice attached to my student account. And immediately my first reaction was to not open it because I assumed that that was the university telling me, oh, hey, you've gotten nothing, here you go. But for some reason I was drawn to it and I decided to open it. And when I opened it and saw that I had received Kathy's scholarship, I was immediately filled with joy and elation. I immediately called my mother, who I'm extremely close with, and hearing the happiness and instantaneous relief in her voice is one of the most amazing experiences that I've ever had with her. Both of my parents worked extremely hard to put themselves through college as first-generation college students, and I know how incredibly hard they work so that I can be a student here at an amazing school like the Ross School of Business. Kathy's generosity has not only made my attendance here possible, but as a recognition of my achievements, has encouraged me to keep working hard and to keep integrating myself into this wonderful Ross community. I had the opportunity to meet Kathy when she traveled to Ross earlier this year to talk to the BA 200 class for incoming sophomore students. And I was more nervous to meet Kathy than I've ever been to meet anybody in my life, given all of her accomplishments. But immediately when I met her, I was overwhelmed by her warmth and generosity and kindness, and how much she genuinely wanted to know about me and about my family and about what her scholarship had done in my life. I cannot thank her enough for her generosity or truly express how amazing her scholarship has, or how much her scholarship has changed my life. It is with great pleasure that I now welcome to the stage Ms. Catherine Basant.
Thanks, Courtney. Well, I'm here to provide a little diversity tonight and a little levity. I made a commitment a long time ago not to attend events that are designed to make me cry. And Courtney, you did that, so I'm going to try to move forward a little bit from here. But first of all, I'm here for diversity. My name is not Courtney. But the more important part, or maybe the more troubling part, if you're me, is I'm here to provide the gray hair. You know, the first time that I met Scott, blown away completely. And I think of myself, I run technology and operations globally for Bank of America, have about 100,000 people that work for me, and I think of myself as a pretty tough customer. So here I was, prepared to meet the new dean, and I walked in and I thought maybe I should be giving us some Cheerios, and, you know, counting them one at a time, followed by, aren't they good? And here's Scott, who blows me away with his energy, his enthusiasm, his dedication to the school, his caring about the faculty and the administration and our students. And if I wasn't signed up and all in before that, absolutely I was on meeting Scott. So Scott, congratulations on your first more than 100 days, but on leading this great institution. You know, I'm going to be brief. We've got important things to watch tonight. And the weirdest thing of all of this is I was actually going to wear this even if the game hadn't been on. So I am a little freak show. But I had one of those all-time Ross experiences. We have a small house in Park City, Utah. It's spring break for my son's high school. I've been there all week, came in a little while ago. And I was leaving the grocery store, right in, you know, typical mommy mode, not a stitch of makeup, jeans, my Michigan sweatshirt. And a voice behind me says, "Hey, did you go to Michigan?" And I reluctantly, but I did it. I turned around and I said, "Sure, of course I did." And it was literally 30 minutes before the last game was supposed to start. And so he began to tell me about his son, who is a Ross student, who I won't embarrass or cause his friends embarrassment by saying his name, but he said immediately, "Here's what I love about Ross. My son is really brilliant with computers. He's really, really brilliant with computers, and yet he's a computer guy who has a heart." And as a technology person myself, I'm thinking immediately, how do I hire this guy? Because we could use a few more of those. There's no question about it. But what he said following that was what was most impactful to me. And he said, "What I love about Ross is he's a great computer guy with a heart, and they didn't try to beat it out of him. They bring that part of him to life. And isn't that what you want in an institution? You want an institution that's smart enough to put the game on TV because we're all real people. Really. You want an institution that respects that to be great technologists, we've got to have people with heart. I was looking at the driver video and reading the scenario that the BBAs are going through, and I know for a fact that right now in labs all over the world, people are writing algorithms where technology and algorithms will choose in a moment, in a split second, will a car hit a pedestrian? Will it hit another truck? Will it run itself off the road? They're real live human beings writing algorithms that'll make these calls, and we've got to have people with heart. So I loved it. How did I get started in my particular scholarship effort? I came from a very small town, about 35 miles down the road, Jackson, Michigan. I'm the daughter of a public school teacher and a mom who ran a not-for-profit, so long on the public service gene, not long on abundance to pay for school. And I am here today, a girl from Jackson, Michigan, with a favorite restaurant in Hong Kong. I'll go to the theater with some business colleagues in London next week. And I'm here today because I had a generous scholarship donor who made sure that while I had a mentor and a lot of will and supportive parents, I didn't have the way. And my scholarship donor made sure that I had the way. Why has it been important to me? I'm a big believer in to those who much is given, and I don't believe this biblically, although maybe I do. But I mean, philosophically, when you're given a lot should be expected. And it really is our job to take what we've been given and to help foster, help be the wind beneath the wings of all three of our Courtneys and everyone else, everyone else like them. It's important to me because I believe we have a role in life to change the world. And these students that we're supporting and this faculty and the administration that are making this happen, that is what it means to change the world. And the goals that I set for myself, and I know that most of you set for all of yourselves, are nothing short of that. There's only one reason, frankly, to be on the planet, and that is to make an impact that lasts after we're gone. Because there is one thing that's for sure, and we will someday, sad to think about it, someday not be here. And it's Courtney, and Courtney, I don't mean to make everybody laugh, but it's the Courtneys and everyone else who are going to make sure that the world that our children and their children and the children after that grow up in is in fact a commercial, but a just and a fair and a socially equal place to be. And that makes all the difference in the world. So, my purpose here tonight is to thank all of you who have been donors. It is rich and rewarding, and you're here because you are changing lives and the world. It's to encourage you because this thing has, the whole spirit of giving has a huge momentum to it. Once you do it and you meet a Courtney and you see the vibrance and the vitality of these students and this school, it is an addiction. And so I'm encouraging all of you to feed your addiction. You can be even more important every day, and I would just encourage you. And then I always like to use opportunities like tonight to do what I call the Re's. Yes, we're all committed, but it's a great opportunity to spend 10 seconds and recommit. We're all energized. It's a great opportunity to spend 5 or 10 seconds and get re-energized and to pick just one thing that tomorrow will be different because you were here and had this experience and fellowship and thought and inspiration. One thing to do that makes tomorrow different from today because you were here. I assure you that after the Michigan victory, I will focus on that for sure. Bad time to have given up alcohol for Lent. I do. I should have clearly rethought that. So thank you for being here. Scott and the team, thank you for giving me the opportunity. Courtney, thank you for being my inspiration. That's the other thing about these kids. They're way smarter than we are too. So supporting them is just one of the greatest joys of all time. Before I sit down, So I believe, if I'm not wrong, that we have an up-to-the-minute live breaking news audio that we're going to listen to as our BBA students move things forward. Thank you very much.
So I'm sure that wasn't entirely clear to you guys, and all this information is coming at you all at once, just as it is our BBA participants tonight. They're receiving news from various sources by the second, just like in a real-life crisis. Things are about to get interesting and uncomfortable for our BBA Crisis Challenge teens. However, as Courtney said, it will be an incredible opportunity for growth and for learning for all our BBA participants. Experiences like this and so many more would not be possible without the generosity from outstanding supporters like you. Now, dinner will be served shortly, and more importantly, the Michigan-Oregon game will be on in just a couple minutes. So thank you again, good night, and go Blue.